Hi, I just wanted to do a quick demo by taking a simple example of, let's say, a client like Modernloop and how they could engage StepUp.One to deliver some of their key services to transform their social media. So, as with anything that we do, we first look at, how is our client right now. So, if I do a very quick assessment of Modernloop, they have a very decent Twitter profile, but they have a very basic number of followers, 35, and the number of tweets that they've done is only 10. And all their tweets is pretty much about their fundraise, and pretty much that's it, right? And if I look at Christopher and Lydia, and the one what they've done with their Twitter account for anything to do with Modernloop, it's pretty much something that's non-existent, right? But at the same time, if I go to Modernloop's website, it's amazing. They've raised an initial $3 million, and then they've raised another 9 million in Series A. Their client stories are just riveting client stories, but none of these client stories have actually made it to their social media or any of those other things, right? So basically, we do a complete roundup of Twitter, website, and we also make sure that we, round up, let's say, Modernloop's LinkedIn as well. LinkedIn is looking a lot more better than Twitter. But once again, if you just dive a little bit deep into that, there is hardly any post. There is no thought leadership. There are no, significant number of connections. So both Christopher and Lydia and the Modernloop's company page itself is pretty basic. They've really not done much to find new relationships, or to go after clients, or to hire teams, or it looks like Modernloop has done an extraordinary job on the product market fit, as well as raising capital. But in terms of leveraging the social media, a lot needs to be desired. So let's assume that Modernloop finds out about StepUp.One. They come to our website, they look at all our credentials and blah. I don't want to go through all of these things. Let's say they come here and then they look at all the things, and then they simply come to, okay, what can we get from StepUp.One, right? So say, wow. So it says we can, Modernloop can help. Modernloop can ask StepUp to help them generate revenue, in which we basically identify 500 potential, let's say, recruitment ops managers, connect with them on LinkedIn, engage with them with Modernloop's product pitch, and then set up demo meetings with potential clients of Modernloop. It's a pretty straightforward service for $300. I don't think raise capital is something that Modernloop needs from anyone at this point in time. Build team, probably yes. They've already 26 people, and they might want to grow higher. So this is something that we can help in identifying the right candidates for Modernloop to hire. Similarly, both Lydia and Christopher could help with increasing thought leadership about hiring, about candidate experience. I think we could do a hell of a job for them in increasing the thought leadership on both their profiles as well as on the company profile. I don't think they need to do the email campaign. This could be useful. If we start creating great content, we can hyperscale that content by posting them across thousands of groups. I'm not sure they need building or moderating communities at this point in time. I don't think recruitment managers and ops managers fancy being in communities. That's my take, maybe wrong. So basically, I think generating revenue, increasing thought leadership, hyperscaling through groups are probably some of the best ones that they can actually take from us. So what do we do as soon as they sign up for these services? Really simple. We first try and analyze where they stand, so that we know exactly where they are, like what's the number of followers, blah blah blah, all those things. Then we've already talked about out of all the services that we provide, which ones is a tick and which one is a cross. It's a pretty straightforward thing. And immediately after that, we'll launch into what is a segment, what is a target segment, whether it is thought leadership or direct messaging to increase revenue. We must have a very precise idea about the target audience. So in terms of target audience, we always do two things. We try and find out what is the ideal client account. That's really easy. It looks like there is enormous focus on tech companies hiring rapidly in the US. And that's a very, very quick, client profile. And within this client profile, what is the buyer persona, right? Is it, do we need to pitch to the recruitment ops leads or managers or VPs or CXOs or to the founders themselves? it could change dramatically based on the size of the company. If somebody is doing a Series B or a Series C, you're probably better off with recruitment managers and recruitment ops leads. If somebody's just done their seed, probably go to the founders or the CXO, right? So we analyze the entire segment, then we connect with the target audience, and then we do two things. One, we engage them with subtle and relevant posts, or we engage them with direct questions. Do you need this platform that could help you with your candidate experience? And finally, we measure the impact that we deliver for you, and then you could obviously figure out how much it'll cost for you. So how do we do that? Let me just quickly show you the dashboard that we put together. So if you look at this dashboard, if I simply remove the filters, you will see a total of 407 industry verticals listed over here. And based on whatever you've seen, we have selected 10 as your top 10 verticals in the tech sector. So technology, media, IT services, software development, internet publishing. So we've just selected hypothetically 10 tech industries. And we have also listed the number of HR executive in each one of those industries. So what we do once we have done this, we try and connect with 500 from each one of these sectors. And then we observe how many of them are connecting back, how many of them are engaging, and how many of them are converting. Just a weird thing. I've just, this is never going to happen, but I just thought, I'll give you a very clear things. So who's this, in which is this industry where I'm getting a massive conversion? And we figure out this is software development. Once we know the software development industry is more, turned on with your offering, then we take software development and, split the hell out of it, by geography, by size of the company, by the different levels of buyers, and we know exactly how many buyers are there in each segment, and we go across the world to make sure that we see whether we can get the same kind of traction that we got in the US in every other geography that we possibly can. So this is how we approach. And how do we actually execute the job? Let's say these 21,000 people are there. So we click there. It takes us to the exact 21,000 people on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. We then talk to 500 CXOs first, and 500 directors, and 500 so that we know exactly what we do. So how do we do that? We just click on William, click this thing, and then we try to give a message to William, and then connect with William, engage with William, and try to see if he would bite into the Modernloops thing. Pretty straightforward. Once we have done all those things, then things are really are a lot more easier, because LinkedIn has done a phenomenal job in terms of giving us like how do you so if I just take my own company and just show you some of the examples, you have some amazing analytics, whether it is the number of visitors who are coming in, the number of followers that we are able to increase, the how do you compare with competition, where do you stand? So this is StepUp.One against top 10 competitors of us in terms of engagement and in terms of followers. So we have enough and more stuff to go after, and show you how we are able to make an impact. So in summary, we can basically fire up your LinkedIn, Twitter, personal profiles, company profiles, and make it really sync for you. So that's pretty much the end of our demo. Let me know if this was useful. Thank you.